जल्दी शुरू करो कब पता चल we are live actually
No.
no we are live Anupama Singh live
Are we live?
yes
Okay.
we are live
We are live from a new location.
Welcome guys to Bulls, Bear and Banter with the newsroom.
With the newsroom. So we just thought we'll bring the newsroom into your homes as well.
Yes. Yeah. It's a beautiful newsroom.
Yeah. It is.
and the vibrant one
Yeah. I know. The average age is.
आप
आप सजीत थे।
हम अपना एज नहीं बताना चाहते मेरे और तुम्हारे एज से 2 साल का फर्क है यार
सिर्फ 2 साल में बहुत ज्यादा फर्क होता है।
उसके लिए वोट लेना पड़ेगा। Average age of newsroom.
ये ज्यादा बोल रहा है
There is a board there. Maybe you can walk there. The camera can pan, follow you. But anyways, so guys, how's the George? Hi sir.
Hi.
But markets they did really well to start off. We built on, or rather, we started in the red, but thereafter we saw a little bit of buoyancy. Flattened out.
Again negative.
Yeah, flattened out.
But yesterday's bounce was all about short covering, right? In the instant nifty futures, banks, we also some bit of short covering. FPI is covering a lot of short position, which is
And a typical expiry day performance.
expiry कैसे है Monday को कैसे कैसे ऐसे मत बोला करो यार
Another trick question. Another trick question.
no it cannot be
क्या चल रहा है
ये नीरज सर मंडे को एक्सपायरी क्यों करा रहे हैं वैसे आज है एक्सपायरी सेंसेक्स का
No, आज है? Sorry, I'm not aware. Is it? No, I don't know. I really don't know.
सेंसेक्स का आज
Yeah, I mean, so good. ठीक है, bounce हो गया. I mean, so you know, to my mind, who to predict? इसलिए मैंने trade setup में trade setup ही नहीं बोला. मैंने बोला boss, दररोज बोलना बहुत difficult है. Every broker that you talk to, उसके यार volumes have dried up. Nobody is doing anything. The best guys are caught on the wrong foot. Some of the most terrible traders are actually making money as well sometimes. So there is it's a very difficult.
terrible traders भी होते हैं क्या
हाँ people who generally trade तो मतलब ऐसे ही कर लिया होगा but कभी-कभी पैसा बच जाता है तुक्के में. But the point that is there that the Bofano today captured it well. I thought that one the risks are skewed. So there may be no. So the according to me the recipe is there for a bounce because long short देख लो, quant indicator देख लो, फलाना ढिमकाना, a whiff of good news and the markets can bounce, right? Now, but the flip side is that are the risks skewed to the downside? Because if the good news is not from the India tariff piece, but otherwise, then the BOFA note says that that has got serious implications on earnings. Pranjal Bhandari yesterday said it's got serious implications on growth as well. And
sub 6% she was looking at.
Yes, if this stays this way. And I love the fact that we are standing up in terms of the wake of the really ridiculous, as Barkhadat put in, inane kind of arguments being done by the US president right now. We have to recognize the fact that the price of that standing up is that there will be downgrade on earnings, on GDP, etc.
So how do you see we going into, it's a truncated week for us till Thursday. Friday is the Independence Day, so it's a holiday.
Cautious.
But Friday is also the meeting between Putin
Friday
and
रात
Trump.
को Friday रात को ही होना है.
So matlab, people are not going to pick up a position going into, right, with Thursday expiry and they will keep it light going into Monday dekenge. I don't want to be caught on the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be there. So the positions are going to be same. The long short ratio which you talk about, longs are roughly around 8%, 8.5%, which is there. It's going to remain there till Thursday.
Yeah.
And that's going to be something a worry as well as an opportunity in that sense.
Yeah, you would argue, right? I mean, I would presume that people would think of it as something to be wary and cautious about, because now there has been a bit of a downside that is already coming. यहाँ पे if you go wrong, then the downside could be quite a bit, right? But the upsides could be limited because this is one faction. There is an event, the outcome of which might help India's cause, not necessarily will help. So I think people will be mindful of that. My view.
And what's your view on this extension to China by 90 days, which has come?
No option. What do you guys think? No option, right?
I, I thought it's a no option because उसका soybean बेचना है.
And he's such a, by the way, Sajeet is a very nice piece. We'll talk about it, but your quick thought.
Yeah, I yeah. So I agree. I concur with both of you on the China piece. But very quickly on India, it's an uncertain environment. Uh, would you, as a long-term investor, take this as an opportunity? I would believe yes. Would you think otherwise? Sajeet, sir, Niraj sir, would you think otherwise? As a long-term investor, I'm not talking positions.
After yesterday's inflow data which came in for July, I think I don't care if FIs are there or not.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
No, I won't go that far. I
No,
would absolutely not.
I
care,
go
but-
that far, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm talking on data. FPI is asset under custody, which is available in
Sub 16%.
right, but the total value of that is now lower than mutual fund and mutual fund for the first time. So this asset class of retail investors which are coming into mutual funds and insurance companies and insurance with the non-par index funds जो unit जो आ रही है right उसके वजह से जो asset under management है इसका retail का that has now exceeded the FPI. So whatever FPI positions are going to be holding like 8% long percent yeah 92% short, it's going to be countered effectively by the domestic institution because there is buyer at any level in the market. That is the issue, and that's where FPI is also stuck because they can't make profits.
As much as they would want to too.
And recent restrictions which have come into the derivative market with respect to market position and the delta trading which is that's also squeezes them very hard. Actually, they can't do much to make profits in either of the market and and gain the market. So there is a tendency which was there. I think that has been plugged into some extent from my point of view.
Yeah, but I mean, no, we have to. I mean, PIs are an important part.
No, I'm
Very
not saying it's
important.
not. But they bring in some bit of sanity with respect to valuation and other stuff. But I'm trying to say that if there is going to be an adverse event that comes in, except August 27 being again, it's effective August 77 and August 27 being again a holiday for us. So 26 is something which we will look at. But point is that this adverse event can be absorbed by enough of cash which is lying in the books. And you've been speaking to a lot of investors. They're still sitting on high cash component as
Yeah, Sajid, but I think that if indeed this were to happen, that the tariffs are low and therefore it has an impact on GDP and earnings, then domestic capital will probably wait for better levels to deploy, or they'll be very opportunistic. So मेरे हिसाब से निफ्टी पे कितना impact आएगा पता नहीं है domestic investment. But domestic investors will go for specific buckets. Largely put, I personally would want this thing to be resolved simply because as so many people say, "Yeah, these are two friendly nations. There is bonhomie amongst people. You love visiting the US. Most people have family, friends in the US, vice versa. We take pride in the fact that a lot of these global tech firms are headed by Indians, right? People of Indian origin or Indians, whatever. It's a great relationship. And after years of very well crafted diplomacy between the two nations, one person is coming out and offending all of that. Hopefully that changes.
and the only way I find because we are already in a situation where we cannot give in more because our domestic criteria or domestic preferences are very clear in that sense, right?
तुमने क्या लिखा था story बताओ लोगों को just tell
The
people.
story was nothing but about the
I don't
India US trade was all about the soybean trade. Basically. Simple.
all about the soybean trade.
It's simple.
Sajid is saying all about the soybean trade.
And the reason being that US is the second largest producer of soybean after Brazil, and China is the biggest consumer of soybean. And ever since that entire tariff war which has happened, China has stopped importing soybean from the US. And the soybean season, which is coming up in September, October, and China hasn't even booked forward cargo for that. So it's nearly $24 billion of soybean annual trade, which is there, of which 12 to 14 billion dollars is what used to go to the Chinese market, and now it's not going. And China is now buying it from Brazil because Brazil is the largest soybean producer there, and that's one of the reasons why US has imposed a 50% tariff on Brazil because it's taking away that. The bigger thing is that soybean is produced in the MAGA states, which is states which are supporting Trump. India has given concessions for fruits and apples and berries and everything, but that largely comes from the democratic states and not the Republican states. And US wants soybean to be, exported to India, and India will not accept that because US soybean is genetically modified, which we don't allow in India. So that's
So I buy his argument, but I don't think that's the only problem.
there are wheels within wheels and wheels, but this is one of the biggest thing which is
It's a very big deal. A very interesting deal. By the way, it's a story worth reading. You should try and
you
log in.
have
Maybe,
more,
maybe we can drop that story. Sorry.
No,
Let's
no,
just drop the story so that people can read it. Yeah, please.
and you'll have more of these coming out as well. Right? As days and weeks and months go by, you'll have more of these issues, these nuances starting to play out inter-country, and therefore this uncertainty will likely, I hope not, but likely only remain elevated.
I think so. Very
You know,
likely. By the
we
way,
have been the biggest opponent of genetically modified.
modified. Yeah.
The only crop which we allow is cotton, and even mustard, which is coming in, has not gotten approval. So we are talking about rice, wheat, brinjal, all those genetically modified. These are not going to come easily into the country, and it's going to impact the farmer. Soybean, by the way, is cultivated in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, Gujarat. These are the key states for the ruling party.
No, I don't think this is. मेरे हिसाब से Sajeet वाला है. I don't think it's a factor of ruling party के
No,
state
I'm
में
talking
इसलिए हो रहा है.
farmer. The farmer. I'm talking from the farmer point of view. And prime minister. So I'm just
Independent. Even if the states were not there, I think the stand would have been the same.
I'm trying to say that no one will take that political uh,
Risk.
at this
Okay,
point.
possible. Okay, let's move on. Before we take questions, yeah, some stocks which Anupama, producer, had told us we should talk about, right?
Yes.
So Astral is the first one.
Yes.
And the stock is down. I did an interview, so therefore I'm just very quickly bringing out what happened. Right?
What are they talking about?
So
Construction.
PVC prices were down. PVC prices were around 14%. That led to the inventory loss in quarter one, and that's the problem. Strip off the inventory loss, the margins would have been normal. July has been good for them, both on value terms for adhesives as well as for the
Pipes.
piping business. Right? July has been good. Can they call it a trend? No. But will margins revert to normal? Yes, they will. Part one. Part two, they said that I got a sense when I spoke to people as well that people are also thinking about that 120 crore investment that they are making in a CPVC plant. Now, Astral is saying that, boss, look at it from two ways. One, that the PVC quality that is coming in a lot of cases, is actually leading to leakages, etc.
Yes,
stuff like
it
that.
is. CPVC is much better than PVC.
So CPVC could be much better than PVC, and therefore, two things. One, getting into CPVC with a 120 crore investment is not a big thing for a company which has got a very large EBITDA, right? There's part one, and good cash flows, and part two, that 120, and part two is just that, because if they get into this backward integrated CPVC, then they can actually get uh, fairly high quality control on that value chain, which can help them tremendously. He said, I urge investors to wait for 1 year and see the impact of this as it plays out post Q2 FY25. This was
Q2 FY.
That's when the plant comes into it.
Okay.
अभी तो 12 महीने तो लगता है plant को.
But tell me one thing.
They're very
I
conservative.
want you to put this in perspective with, we did a realistic discussion as well, where sales are not happening, pricing holding up, but sales not happening, right?
Oh,
How do you put?
No, but Sajid, चलेगा because the primary sales तो एक बात है, right? You know, a lot of cases the pipes thing will come in at the back end, right, of the building. Eventually, tiles, pipes, etc. Not quite immediately. अभी तो cement, steel वगैरह का होता है.
So inventory build-up दिख रहा है उधर?
नहीं, see, I think the way I've understood this is, and one last point here, and before we move on to the next thing, the way I've understood this is, for now, pipe companies react to PVC prices. Simple. बाकी सब secondary, because अगर PVC prices ऊपर जाने लगते हैं, dealers buy the pipes because they don't want to buy eventually at a higher price. Pure pipes, PVC prices नीचे गए, यहाँ पे loss हो गया. जैसे ही PVC prices stabilize हो गए, ऊपर जाना चालू करेंगे. Things will improve, and Astral is trying to counter this by also getting into CPVC. So I think it's a 18-month play, but it's a proven track record company. You don't want to doubt how they are thinking.
See, and the management is very proactive in that sense, right?
Very proactive.
They're very proactive, and you should give that to. You should have that faith in the management. Astral has been doing that actually, and they've been ahead of the curve in terms of market entry, and they've been doing it. So you have to give them that benefit of doubt till it plays out. in that sense.
And very good tailwind for growth. Sector has plenty of
Obviously,
tailwind.
because they're getting into
Competition is there.
adjacencies.
So the only thing is that the pricing pressure will be there because PVC price have gone down, so they have to remove that inventory and get it.
Now, because we spoke a little bit about demand, what about real estate? We've spoken about this earlier in the channel today. Speaking about the fact that maybe sales are under a bit of pressure.
Fifth year, sixth year of the upcycle. At some point of time, it will catch up. But select companies are okay, still confident.
Is it just the high base, you reckon?
One, the high base, but on the flip side also, I think that as more and more quality builders are seeing an influx of a buyer. Like now, if you want to buy a house or you want to buy a house, you will typically not go to the next building to my house if it's being built by somebody else. You would ideally say, "Chalo, I'll go 15 buildings out, but let me go to a builder with reputation, not five, large or small." I mean, MMR has some very reputed builders who are small, but they do some quality work. So I think that is what is happening. And presumably, you would expect that all of the listed builders, at least 80% of them are high quality, right? And if they know their staff, they do their good branding. I think उनके लिए ठीक रहेगा.
But
Signature Global was
we've seen the interest cycle also being more favorable now, right? 100 basis points
नहीं हो
cut
रहा है सजीत. मुझे लगता है यार 25
is not
basis
influencing. 100 basis points cut हुआ है
मुझे
यार.
बहुत लोगों ने बोला, मतलब अभी नहीं, एक दो साल पहले लोग बोल रहे थे कि
इंटरेस्ट कटना चाहिए
नहीं,
और कट गया तो अभी कोई कर रही है.
नहीं, इधर real estate demand doesn't come from interest rate cut but from the economy and the performance of the markets. Market performance is a big linkage to interest to real estate because वो low होते हैं यार. Markets में पैसा बनाए, then go out and buy property.
Not all people do that.
So all
right?
of people do that. And I would presume now that will increase that more and more people invest so much into
mutual
equity
funds,
markets and mutual funds.
When we saw 28,000 crores in SIPs coming highest ever, maybe $5 billion.
मुझे लगता है वो होगा.
I speak with Irfan Raza last week, the speech. Who better place, right, to give us a perspective?
And they are entering into BKC area.
So I asked him, where does pricing go from? And he said, while obviously it's great if it continues to go up, but I hope and I wish that it doesn't, because that will ensure that demand sustains. And that was a very interesting nugget that I got out of him when he said that I don't want it to go up, just from a perspective that I hope that affordability sustains and demand sustains overall.
By the way, is it my imagination or is the newsroom very quiet today?
It's
because of our show. I think you're a hater. क्या है तो यहाँ पे कर दिया. वरना newsroom is very very vibrant.
For sure होता है इधर. But what he spoke about for pricing, Gautam Singhania also spoke about the same thing, that the kind of connectivity which is now coming into Mumbai, which connects south and central and other areas, there will be an equalization of pricing within the thing, because if you are going to take only 15 minutes to go from one A to B when it used to be 90 minutes, then why should I pay extra amount for that, right? So that was his argument. But of course, he's building something in Bandra, and he's talking about how South Mumbai prices will come up.
But that's true.
But it may not crash. It may just like kind of
crash. I'm trying to say that from high levels it will come down, right?
A friend from Dubai had come down. Right? He's thinking about which restaurant to go to, and he said that my favorite is either the table or something, and I said, yeah, let's do table. This is the first time that you hear a person who is around Bandra area being ready for a South Bombay meal simply because the coastal road is coming. Want everybody. Okay, what are the stocks that we take, or should we take questions?
Is there anything?
There's something on BSE today. I mean,
any thoughts? Either of you, both of you know BSE. You interviewed, you know BSE.
They said that. I mean, nothing new per se. They said that the Thursday expiry is only good for them because Thursday traditionally has been the day of expiry. So they're saying, hey, it's great for us. We look at this as really good because perception-wise, the market looks at Thursday as the day of the expiry. So if sensex or BankX gets its expiry on Thursday, it's good for us. And we don't believe that that's going to impact volumes.
No,
I will obviously have a different view.
I'm just trying to say that people on the street are saying that it's going to be a very big negative for BSE. But I don't think it's going to be so negative for BSE because there is a class of investors who are investing now in BSE. They will move from Tuesday to Thursday. They may move there. It's all about पैसा कहाँ पर बन रहा है.
Simple as that. At the end of the day.
Yes.
और अगर
As it
BSE
should be, no?
as it should be, and अगर वो BSE में बन रहा है और सस्ते में बन रहा है तो वहाँ पर जाएगा, वॉल्यूम वहाँ पर जाएंगे सिंपल. 25%, 45% on expiry day turnover, which is now on Monday and Tuesday. Will it move to Wednesday and Thursday? I think yes, it may move. But पूरा जाएगा? I don't know. The thing for BSE is that they need to get the institutions on board. NSE has that advantage that 95-96% of the total institutions or FI or mutual fund are there on that platform. They need to get on sensex.
So he's mentioned that also, that they are basically engaging with institutions to say that, and brokers especially to say that give SOR as the optionality. Whichever exchange is offering the better rate, that is what SOR technically is. Give your clients that, and that will hopefully increase both market share as well as institutional.
And transaction cost is going to
participation.
be the key here, because option expiry के वक्त as you close, the cost is going to come down for your premium in that sense. So I guess
But he spoke about margin sustainability. He said should continue to grow from here. Last 3 quarters, despite all the headwinds, we can well for ourselves. So all of that, and of course, whatever.
By the way, there's a question from Sukumar Sami. He's saying any news about immediate target for Nifty and Sensex? Are we holding the same thing which of Diwali and next Diwali?
As of now, yes. I mean, if so, if the tariffs are stuck at 50%, then do people need to revisit? Yes, they probably need to. Do I need to revisit? Sure.
Yeah.
But if all goes well, then yes, he's still agreeing with that. I mean, there are 5. If we don't do 6%, but do 5.8%, it's still not bad.
Bad.
Is it desirable? No. India needs 8%. But ठीक है यार, 5.8 is not like bear market.
No.
Manishi Chaudhary was bearish today. I asked him, what's your earnings assumption? 5%, 6%? He said, no, I'm at 10, 12%.
10-12%. कहाँ से? मतलब it was when okay, you can call me bearish, but I was looking at the
Can
consensus.
call you bearish?
Yeah.
Can call you?
Yes, you can call me bearish. But point is that
Is that even a question?
at the beginning of the financial year, the mean or consensus estimate earnings growth is around 5%.
नहीं
That is Bloomberg consensus, not my consensus. Yes, it is. Check करो Nifty का. So that's what I'm trying to say that. Yes, 6 महीने पहले 10% हुआ करता था. But beginning of that, or in the March quarter, the downgrade that we've seen in earnings, it's impacting that. Now, I'm not sure whether 5% is sustainable in the kind of current tariff, climate which is there. But again,
Coffee? लगा लो.
लगाओ कॉफी पिलाने में क्या है, हमें तो भी
Uncertainty तो रहेगा, but I believe आपने ही बताया कि flows are strong and
देखो अभी तक 50% of the companies have come out with numbers. 50%, ठीक है? The median profit growth is 13% actually. The median EPS growth is 8% because there has been dilution. The median sales growth is 7%. So a really bad quarter one, you had median PAT growth at 13%.
you're talking about the entire universe.
हाँ entire universe. तो
हो सकता है, हाँ.
हुआ है ना फिर.
मैं निफ्टी की बात कर रहा हूँ.
निफ्टी तो ठीक है, हो जाएगा. मैंने भी जाएगा. कोई और कंपनी
चलो अगला क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं.
starting valuation.
Niraj sir, we on Geo getting ITR business for just 24. समझा नहीं. Niraj sir, Geo getting into ITR business for just 24.
Can you please resend your question? We'll try and take it.
Yeah.
Yes. Producers, if this
Amitabh
question comes
Khan
again.
has suggested to push Indian tourism strongly in the scenario.
I agree.
As
I agree.
that sector is immune to tariff at any time.
I agree completely.
Can
And
IRCTC play a big
shameless plug here. Do tiger tourism in India instead of going to see lions in Masai Mara or Kenya. They are good places, by the way. I'm not saying no. So Masai Mara जाओ, Serengeti जाओ, या कहीं और जाओ, कुछ और जाओ. Do tiger tourism in India. It's phenomenal.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And spread across the country. You have parks across the country. And you have beautiful.
मैं 2-3 में गया. कान्हा में गया.
Beautiful. Sal trees, लंबे.
I'm going to Kanha. I'm going to cave.
There is land.
Yeah, go to Gir also.
I've been to Tadoba and
Phenomenal. So will IRCTC?
Will IRCTC play a big role as it plays in many segments of the country? This is a platform business which is profitable. but it doesn't get the same
and has
valuation as
done
any other
nothing
platform.
and has done nothing in 5 years now, virtually.
हाँ मैं
जब से लिस्टिंग हुआ है वो जो लिस्टिंग
expert है।
उसके बाद कुछ नहीं हुआ स्टॉक में, so it's been as is.
it you know it's a very uh,
पब्लिक
sector है,
मुझे पता नहीं
public
अभी
sector
टिकटिंग एंड केटरिंग कितना आता है,
बहुत आता है.
के परसेंटेज
I,
पे
I,
70 होगा सर.
I had an emergency visit to Kerala. I use everything in IRCT to do it. So वो होता है मतलब, but then it's a platform business. Are you getting the same valuation like any other platform business? Maybe a not Yatra, but Indigo, or for that matter.
But is it as good?
Because I have to bounce now.
Yeah. I'm told it's not as good. The
No, I think people say that don't use private guys. Just go on IRCT and do it.
I have heard the
Even Mahima uses IRCT.
But it's changing. They are tech savvy. Okay. Great show, Sadanand Singh, great show, NDTV team. This location is fantabulous, getting more clear than closed compartment. Thank you. Hersh, please tell something on trend opening, burnt toast store, and its impact on bottom line.
Bottom line of the impact, we don't have a clue. But
burnt store.
Burnt toast store.
What does that mean?
Even I don't know what. But is it a new set of stores which Trent has opened?
I think
sorry, Veera.
कुछ I think autocorrect हुआ है.
हाँ, maybe.
Do you think a nifty? This is for you. Do you think a nifty rejig should take place to remove companies like Eternal and Eurofin and add companies like Interglobe? Will it help nifty EPS?
I think there is a methodology, right, Sajeet? You are best placed to answer this. It's not for me, it's for you. Actually.
Yeah, see, we are a market cap based index, right? So in market cap based index, there's no room for fundamentals. That's the only thing. And
preferences.
Or preferences, simple as it's on
market cap and free float.
Free float, market cap, beta of a stock, how much liquidity it has, and I think Intergroup doesn't have that. But now I think the liquidity has increased, right? However, since Nangwar has sold a lot of stakes, the liquidity has increased. So maybe Intergroup could be the next one which is coming. Who knows? But I agree with him that these two companies are bringing down the EPS of Nifty.
Okay, the advantages of being in the newsroom. Sorry, no, you please continue. But Prachi, can I ask you what time is the recording? 12:40. We have 5 more minutes.
So there is a macro question. Brizda has asked, with increasing global trade uncertainty, which Indian companies and sectors do you think are still well placed to grow their marks globally?
Okay, so 2 things here. One, we did a story of companies which are tariff proof.
Yeah.
So you might want to go and read that story because
we can drop that story here.
We should drop that story. It's not the exact answer to your question. We commit to it, but that's a good idea about it. Now, talking about companies which can grow their market globally, I may be a minority here. People might smirk, but I think IT services will continue to grow the market globally. Whether they are good stocks to buy or no, I do not.
I think there's already a note today, right? We said that we have seen the
bottom. No, but the other thing is, there's a very decorated fund manager whose name I can't say. He writes a column on one of the papers under the name of Bertie. I will not mention the name of the fund manager because he wants to keep it that way. But he's made a very interesting point. Like the last 4 or 5 times that opportunities were returned, people think about IT services. People think that they are companies which have buried their head under sand. Do not know, as like an ostrich, don't know what's happening around there. ऐसे नहीं होता है part
ऐसे corporate में कहीं पर भी नहीं
होता है और IT services में definitely नहीं होता because they've done this time and again. And 2, I think when this whole AI does settle and AI is widely adopted, companies को बताएगा कौन कि AI कैसे use करना है? Indian IT service company. I firmly believe होना ही होना है.
But what that does as a consequence to both top line, margin, hiring, all of that,
it will reduce manpower.
Will be vastly different.
Yes, agree. But Hersh, it may reduce manpower. But like we said the other day, the reduced manpower is not a function of reduced business prospects. They are wanting to do business differently now.
So manpower will not be one of the elements to judge an IT company.
Exactly.
But what will be the estimate would be revenue per manpower? Because that will start increasing, and that's what people now start looking at. How much utilization we need to do, or as the manpower is going to come down or going to get the revenue per employee will go up. So that's where the margin speaker comes in for many
So IT, pharma,
A sub question to this. Textile. There's going to be plenty of headwind on
but
textile.
AI क्या
Is
होगा?
it a good time? No,
नहीं नहीं,
AI.
this is the sectors which will
This
make
is,
mark
this is on tariff. Do you think it's good to stay away from textile at this point?
I would suspect
Yes,
yes,
at
because
least
clarity
next
नहीं
6
पता
months.
है. Yeah, let clarity come.
domestic market, if you look at, let's look at some of the kinds. We have value, we have trend, and everything. The kind of at the pricing point they are manufacturing stuff and selling it, right? There isn't much of a margin left for
Sir, but that's
producers.
why
But
we
that's
go
the secondary
global, right?
question. First question वो लोग global गए हैं, global में इतना
पर
market
यहाँ
है.
पर
तो
So
replace
at least
कैसे करोगे?
30% of all manufacturing of all Indian textile, I may be wrong here in terms of the metric, but my understanding is 30% of Indian manufacturing is export focused.
True. So
Textile
so
manufacturing.
it could be a good opportunity to do a pivot of putting in high-end material outside, which is not available, right? In India also, we have every region has its own specialty of textiles and fabrics which are coming. Use that as that.
हाँ, but near term headwind तो है ना.
नियर टर्म का गिवन ना हमने तो वो तो है ही अगले 6 महीने के लिए तो है ही ऑलरेडी
Unless things resolve.
orders of getting paused, they're waiting and seeing everything. So
Not everywhere by the way.
not everywhere, not in some sectors, labor intensive sector, it is getting paused. Leather हो या textile हो completely नहीं कुछ कुछ यहाँ
हाँ,
पर
कुछ जगह.
कुछ
Not
जगह
everywhere.
पे
Not
स्पेशली जो हाई एंड वो है. आपकी एक फाइनल क्वेश्चन जो है एफएमसीजी पे है. एफएमसीजी रिवाइव
हाँ बताइए सर, मुझे तो नहीं लगता है. मतलब
आज एक
FMCG
नोट भी था जिससे दैट कंजम्पशन इज गोइंग टू कम बैक इन अ बिग वे.
हाँ, but मैं आपको पूछ रहा हूँ कि so based on all that we've spoken on this very platform, getting developed by the regional large players. So even if staples demand moves up, maybe the listed FMCG names won't directly benefit as they used to in the past. Because now the play is not about those 10 listed companies which have got pan-India supply chain. And people are buying. I've bought a protein bar right now from a brand new startup.
So consumption is coming back.
Like
July numbers are showing that consumption is coming back. Even if at the retail level it's coming back.
I spoke to Astral today, by the way. They said, so that's B2B and construction. Maybe that demand is not
coming. But based on data which I think our colleague Sayta had put out, she says that July data shows a 11% jump in stocking, especially. Now, whether it converts into demand, it's something which the festival is.
Yeah.
But I think we are coming to an end of it.
Yeah, completely out of time.
Yeah, I'll have to bounce for sure.
And I think he's going to do Rashmi's interview.
We are interviewing 2-3 very nice managements and but we are also going to talk to a lot of companies on the 14th of August as our Independence Day special. So looking forward to exciting. This is the best time of the year. And guys, remember, I'm still saying, Ganpati Bappa, around that time, things will resolve themselves.
So let's see. 27 is finished.
Yeah. So, cheers, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.